Hey, everybody. Me here again, Rhiannon Maton, she, her, zero pronouns. I am in this section going to talk about the use of AI and also what is expected of you in terms of some of the administrative items in getting ready for this course, and particularly in relation to the four-part assignment that's the central assignment for this class. You will have already likely found that there is within our class a link to this document, which is the instruction booklet for the central paper in this class. So this is it. And I do ask you not to distribute any of this because it's my intellectual material that I have built over time. So let me first talk about the purpose of this assignment, and then we'll talk about a use of AI, and we'll talk also about getting going in your groups. So the purpose of this assignment is to identify a real organizational problem within a school or a district. You're going to look at that problem through multiple angles, and that includes through talking with stakeholders. So finding out what stakeholders think about your problem and how they think it should be solved and what they think should be done. And you will be looking at stakeholders from a wide range of positionalities in relation to the problem as well. And then you'll be looking at the problem through 5 leadership frames as the course progresses. You've already seen this in my previous video, but this here gives you a sense for all the different parts of this project. And again, it is a group project. Now, AI, let's talk AI. So, AI is useful in terms of the production of this instruction booklet. I have I have certainly used it for aspects of it. And I've also carefully edited the entire thing myself, and I've also very carefully this is my intellectual property, what you're seeing here. However, there has been AI use in relation to it. And I think that is fine. And we are at a point where we need to accept that AI use is part of the writing process. However, that does not mean that AI does the writing for you. What it means is that you are the intellectual powerhouse behind the writing. And it's like talking to a friend. Hey, I'm thinking about this. What do you think? And they give you ideas, and those ideas are useful, and you integrate them into your writing, and it changes how you would have constructed the writing in response. So AI is similar, and we can think of it as a friend of sorts who we are running ideas by, deepening our thinking, deepening our analysis. And those are all justifiable uses of AI for this course. However, what is not justifiable is to put a prompt into AI and say, write this section for me on blah, 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 and then to have it write it for you, because there's multiple reasons for that. One is that it's plagiarism, and that's a legalistic thing, and it's also a concern for SUNY Cortland. But I think the other thing, which is in many ways a bigger existential concern, which is you're learning. You are here, I hope, ultimately to learn. It's not okay for AI to do this course and get you a credit. That's not acceptable. And so it should be you that is doing this course and earning your credit. And the purpose here should be for you to learn about leadership so that you are able to deepen your practice, approach leadership with new skills, and have a deepened analysis that will assist you. So I have some, I hope, fairly clear description of how you can use AI. I have highlighted throughout this document things that I really want you to pay extra attention to, and really please do not skip. So AI may not generate, rewrite, edit, or polish any part of the written assignment. Your writing must be fully your own, and it must be created collaboratively. You cannot skip the reading. You have to do the reading. And I really mean that. You need to dive into the reading. There's a difference between reading an AI summary of reading and reading the actual reading itself. And I think it comes down to depth, and the depth at which we can simmer with ideas and embrace ideas and grapple with ideas. It's different when you read a summary than if you read the actual piece. So I want you to read the actual pieces. And it's fine after you read it if you want to go on AI and say, hey, I was really interested in this aspect. Can you tell me more? How does it relate to XYZ? And it's fine to flesh those things out, but you need to do the reading. Okay. AI may also not be used to draft any sentences or any paragraphs. So, again, this is your intellectual property. But then the next step after that is not to simply implement it, but for you to think critically and engage critically with what AI is suggesting and to say, yeah, I like those aspects of it. But this other aspect needs to be expanded and it's missing or incomplete or that is false. So you are doing that critical engagement and critical back and forth with AI, and that is acceptable for this course. But again, you cannot say, write this essay, write this section, and have AI do that. So the edits must be your own, and all sentences and all writing must be your own. It should not be generated by AI. And I will tell you right now, I use AI a lot. I am very familiar with how it writes. I'm very familiar with the approach it takes. I'm very familiar with tone. I'm very familiar with the language, with common words it uses. Like I can identify AI right away. So I will know if you are using AI. And you should not be rewriting or revising writing in relation. However, it is fine to you can put your writing in, and actually didn't do this on the last stage with this. So there may be errors in this document, but I could have put this entire thing in and said, "Hey, can you just note for me where there's any grammatical errors or awkward wording?" And then it's fine for it to write up a summary like, "Hey, I noticed this, I noticed that." And I do that with my writing sometimes, and some of it I agree with, it's critiques, and some of it I actually don't agree with. So you need to use your own critical judgment, and it's fine to use AI as a tool. However, it is not fine for AI to do the work for you ultimately. So I hope that makes sense to you. So authenticity and learning are ultimately what this course is about. And I want to really emphasize authenticity. So the point of this assignment is to be authentic. I do not want to read an AI summary of your problem. I want to hear what you all collaboratively and collectively construct. And yes, I will tell you, this assignment is a fair amount of work, but every semester, my students say how useful it is to them and to their practice in order to get that utility out of it. And I think it's not just a short term utility, it's really a long term development in terms of your leadership practice, that sort of opportunity. So, in order to do that, you really do need to commit to the process. So, group collaboration, you will be collaborating. And I am going to really emphasize this first point. By collaborating, I don't mean delegation. I do not mean, hey, you go off and write this section. I'll write this paragraph. You do that one. That is not what we are doing here. You are training and learning how to be a leader, and leaders need to work with their peers throughout all stages of projects. This is not about delegation. This is about working together. So you are fully collaborating. You are fully co-constructing the writing for each section. And by that, the entire section that you are writing should be a full collaboration. So that means that everyone in your group participates in developing ideas. Everyone helps to shape the writing. Everyone revises and strengthens the final submission. And it is a shared intellectual project. This is not a collection of individually written pieces that are stitched together. So, not delegation. We are looking at full collaboration. You should see yourselves as co authors. You should be working side by side. I strongly recommend that you do the writing side by side whenever possible. And of course, I know there are many constraints we all face in our daily lives, but I would like for you to do your best to work side by side. You should have a weekly meeting with your group members. There will be 3 to 4 of you in your group. You'll have a weekly meeting where you can talk through ideas, weigh them out, debate them, all of that. And I give you some ideas about how you can work together in real time. You are thinking together. So this is to some degree repeated, but it's so important. I want for you to share the intellectual labor, and it does require of you a range of things. So, one of those things is you need to complete the readings on time. You need to bring ideas to your group discussions. Don't just show up and be a dud with nothing to offer. You want to come to your group discussion with questions, with ideas, with examples. And you will help refine arguments. You will ask questions. You will critique. You will expand upon. You will build upon. And collaboratively, collectively, you will be doing this intellectual labor. And I really want to emphasize this. Often, I think we see a tendency to simply agree with others, but I want you to go further. I want for you to be engaged in this very intellectual process of challenging, questioning, refining, building ideas together, all of that. So, I have a range of meeting expectations. You will be establishing a weekly meeting time. You will be proactive in negotiating what these meeting times should look like. I give you some ideas for things that you can talk about when you first meet, just to talk about what your restrictions are and things like that. You are working together, you're not dividing tasks. If the group formation does not work, this did happen last semester to one group, and you've just come and talk to me and we will figure out an alternative. We'll work it out together. So just come and see me or text me, etc. So you can see a summary there. And then you will see here there are some essay formatting requirements. You can refer back to that later. So I mentioned this before, but you will be working on a document in a folder on Google Drive. I have links to this folder all over the place. So there were links I showed you in the last video that are on Brightspace. There's links even within the assignment instructions booklet. So hopefully you can find everything. You will be going into a group folder and it has 3 different documents and they are outlined here. So I will let you read through this on your own. You will see those documents and they're all set up for you. So you've got your main document here, and this is the document where you will be writing. This is the main piece that I will be reading and assessing. And it's also your final, once it's all done, it is the final paper. You're not producing a separate final, that is the final. And then each week you will be doing labor together in a working document. You can see I've put different tabs for different topics each week. And you can use this as you wish, but I want to be able to see the work that is reflected and who is doing what and what different people are adding to the process. And you can see here that the working document, so it's a place for you to collaborate, and it's also a place for me to see the work. So please do read through these directions surrounding the documents very carefully. Prior to AI, I was not having students do this, but now I feel that I need to. So you will be going into the summarized individual contributions each week. When something is due, you will go to the tab and then you will fill in with the information for what each group member has done. And I have given you here an example of a hypothetical week where I was working on one of the frame analysis. So I've given that to you, and I've also disclosed my AI use here within the document, and I say exactly how I used AI so that all of that is disclosed. So hopefully all of this makes sense to you. I will follow this up next with a video on the problem statement. Thank you very much.